I don't know who this man is. Sorry to this man.
All right, so I found the name Jacqueline Hay, Tea, Teea. We spelling your government
Yes.
name, hopefully. But thank you. You know, we see you, boo. We
Yes.
see you, and we appreciate the love from both of you. And there's a couple more that I couldn't find that quickly, but thank you. You know who you are. So when you hear this part, hit us up in the DMs, and I'll say it again in the next episode. So, all right, ladies, what time is it?
Ask
Ask
your
your
aunties.
Aunties. Just action for no reason. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes. I wish I could do them runs that Beyonce does.
Honey,
And that,
right?
and that's oh
You,
my god.
and I love it, baby.
Every time I hear those runs in that song,
Honey.
I always get the Bill Cosby face, just.
It was like the stank face, like, ooh, she's singing.
I mean,
See,
just going.
remember that episode? We were just like, she was singing on them hoes and let y'all hoes know. Hold on,
Yes.
y'all be saying I'm rapping, but no ho, I know how to sing.
it's just that's talent. Like that gives me Minnie Riperton vibes. You know how Minnie
Yeah.
Riperton like just rest in peace, just like sings like, but she does very clear scales and in her like that. It's just really impressive. It really is.
I agree. All right. It says, "Hey, aunties, I matched a couple of days ago with this cute guy on Tinder, and he seems super interested in meeting up or in going on a date. But honestly, I have always been really scared of actually meeting up with people from dating apps because you never know if they are going to be genuine or not. So I find myself in this limbo in which I feel sick to my stomach and incredibly anxious every time I think about meeting him. But at the same time, I feel like it would help me ease this overall tension and anxiety. I know it would ease the anxiety and tension. What do you think?" And so I like this question. This question's been out there for a while, and I mean, obviously, I guess the three OG aunties, we've all been in relationships for a minute. So with landing on here, it'd be interesting to get your take on just like app culture, and obviously, like there's the Scruffs and Grinders, but then there's like the Tinders and things like that out there. How do you overcome some of this natural tension and anxiety when you're meeting someone new that you don't know if it's really going to be a catfish situation? You don't know how it's going to go. Are they genuinely interested and all that stuff?
That's the thing. That's the thing you don't know. And that's a part of the risk, the excitement, the unknown. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So what if this is the person that could, right?
God, you're so stupid.
I couldn't hold it. I was like, don't say it, girl. Don't say it.
So I say those are natural feelings, and those are natural to you. Like it's not up to me to say you shouldn't have those feelings or you should. If those are the feelings that you have, you get to own them, but it's what you decide to do with those feelings and do with that particular person or be on an app that is really up to you. So I say if you really want to do it, then your desire to meet up, to connect, has to be greater than the feeling of butterflies, of being anxious, of being a little nervous. Because at the end of the day, you went on there for a reason. So you have to think about what that reason is. And I say those feelings are natural, especially within this technology culture where meeting people the old-fashioned way is not necessarily the new fashion. That's just not the way that people meet as much. So unless you decide that you want to go out to a bar and randomly go to someone and start up a conversation, buy up a drink, this is the way to do it. And ultimately, if you're on an app, you're trying to get something, whether it's a date or some dick. So as
That's a Leviticus. We need to write that one. Date or dick.
I like that. I'll add it.
At
I'll
some
add it to
point
the
you have to
list.
at some point you got to decide, like, what did you decide to get on there for? So think about what that reason is. If you really want to connect, if you want a long-term relationship, if you want a little fun, if you want a little bump and grind, um you got to just remember what that is. And I think that those feelings are natural, but you just got to decide if you're going to take that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you thinking, Dewan?
Um, I'm trying to put myself in this person's situation. I feel like this is not somebody that is, um, this isn't like Grinder, right? This
Hmm.
They said that they met some linked with somebody on Tinder, and although Tinder is I guess close to Grinder in the sense that you can hook up, it's still. But I feel like this person might be more interested in dating versus hooking up,
Yeah.
and maybe dealing with a little bit of like fear of rejection, fear of whatever this could be. So I don't feel like this is one of those situations where it's just like, just jump in, like somebody that deals with anxiety, as a mental health condition. um it's very easy for people who don't have that same condition to say just do it.
Right.
But it's harder for people to actually follow that advice because their anxiety can be debilitating. So I say all that to say that I think my advice would be continue talking to the person. If you matched on Tinder, exchange phone numbers, that's one layer of closeness, and then start having conversations over the phone. Don't rush into the dating thing. If you feel that anxious about the possibility of meeting up with somebody and you don't, without knowing whether or not they're serious about dating you, right? Because the fear could be that, hey, this guy seems really cute, seems really interested in me. I'm really looking to date, but he might be, just using this app as a hookup app, and I don't want to like play into that game and waste my time. I would say chat the person up until you get to a place where you feel comfortable. And then when you feel comfortable with the conversations and how they're going, then you can make a determination as to how and when you want to meet. And then I would also say, if you're nervous about just the conditions of meeting, make sure that it's in a space where you feel safe and you feel comfortable and you feel like, that it lends itself more for you to get to know this person versus like maybe the pressure of a dinner date, where you have
Right.
to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because I sometimes feel like date or dating, especially like when you're going on the first date, can have so much writing on it, the potential,
Yeah.
that sometimes we undercut, the experience. So I would say chat the person up more, to get comfortable in the conversation. If this person is kind of like, hey, I just want to like meet real fast, then I think that's a sign to you that they're maybe not the person that is for you. They might not have the patience for you. Maybe they're not in it for the same reasons that you are. They're not willing to take the time that it takes to meet the person that's right for them, and they might not be the right person for you. And even though they're cute or whatever, sometimes you got to let cute boys go because they're not the right ones for you.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice. What about you, Carell?
Yeah, no, I think you guys nailed it. And it's just like ultimately sometimes you just really need to define what you want and then set those expectations, like either in your profile or in these conversations as they move along. Like Dewan said, if you're getting the feeling that it's just going to be like a hookup and that's not what you're seeking out, say that shit then, because you don't want to lead someone on, because then that gets frustrating on the other side too. And they're like, well, it's just like this culture of ghosting and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
define what you want, and it's okay. Like that's the cool thing, honestly, about a lot of apps. It's like there's thousands of dicks and asses in the sea. You gonna find
And
one or
menses.
two.
lenses, not just body parts.
Right, just right. That's true. But it's like you're gonna find what you're seeking, and you're gonna. But first, it starts with you defining what you want. If you honestly don't know what you want yet, sometimes you're gonna have to take the risk, like Leander was saying, and put yourself in these situations until you get comfortable. Because a lot of times you don't get comfortable till you get, unfortunately, the reps. And it sounds weird to say that about like dating and hookups and things like that, but sometimes you might need to get a couple reps in to know what makes you comfortable in those settings and makes you know, be like, I don't like dinner dates. I like movie dates. I don't like movie dates. I like a walk in the park or whatever it may be, and finding what you really are comfortable in. And I agree, though, you want to figure out what makes you comfortable, because there's nothing worse than being like sitting there at a date and you're just anxious and you're in all this stuff, and it's just not enjoyable for all parties at hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I think the butterflies and the anxiety, I think everyone kind of feels that a little bit going on to dates and things like that. So I think that's part of just the natural process of it. But again, you miss 1,000%, 100% of the shots you don't take. And people also kind of give you the cues. It sounds like they're interested in you, especially if this. I don't know if this is females or guys or non-binary or what the situation, but from my experience, once they kind of hint that they interested, you kind of in there for at least the first date, at least.
Yeah.
And so I would take it, be like, hey, if you feel like they're interested, take that shot. Not all of them are going to go well, though. Be okay with that. Be okay with that. That there might be some botched situations as well. So that's okay. That's okay. What you
It's funny. So I recently had a situation, and Dewan, you'll now get an update. This is fresh breaking news for you. So I was talking to so was talking to this dude for a couple of days. He hit me up on Hinge, and
Hinge? That's just like another Tinder.
Hinge, yeah, a little bit.
She had to school me because I was like, I don't know what this is.
I sure did.
I
gotta.
What is?
What the fuck is Hinge?
Sometimes you gotta school the old folk.
Honey.
So was talking to this dude. He hits me up. We exchange numbers. We're supposed to go out for dinner or something on a Thursday. I end up having to work late, and I made that choice because I wanted to spend some time with my team. And so he's like, how about Friday? Because we were just going to meet later on Thursday. He's like, how about Friday? I was like, okay, Friday's great. He gets the, Friday comes along. He's like, oh, my event is running late. Okay, fine. He's like, how about Monday? I'm like, okay, great. So Saturday comes along. He text messages me. He's like, hey, handsome, what's up? I was like, hey, not much. Chillin', whatever. I get crickets. Monday, unmatched, blocked.
Oh, wow.
Ghosted. And at first I was like, this bitch. And in my mind, it's so easy to get caught up. It's just so easy to get into your feelings. But you know what? Again, no pun intended. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I could have met up with this dude. It could have been a phenomenal time, and there could have been a future. But you know what? I'm a firm believer that God takes people out of your life and vice versa when it's not right for you. And in this moment, I had to think about, like, you know what? This dude wouldn't be able to handle me. He wouldn't be able to handle this dick. He wouldn't be able to handle this personality. So you know what? His loss.
Can you handle it? For me. Michelle, can you handle it?
The answer is no.
Beyonce,
and so,
can you handle it? Later said, I don't think you can
handle it. So at first I was like, oh man, like it would have been great. It would have been great. But then tonight, this dude comes up to me tonight. He's like, I'm really sorry about, to hear about your dad, because it's been 20 years today. I was like, oh, thank you. He's like, what's your Insta? Because I had said something about Insta earlier in a class that I taught. And he's like, what's your Insta? So follows me, says, hey. And I'm like, this dude I've been crushing on for weeks. hits me up on Insta while some bitch in New York decided to ghost me, good fucking bye. So you know what? At the end of the day, things work out the way they are supposed to. If you take the shot and you decide that you want to ask someone out on a date and you want to meet up, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, so the fuck what? Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it
It's
moving.
the multiples for me.
It's the multiples, right? I know that. Well, that's dope.
Options.
Yes.
You got Honda Accord LXs, you got EXs, you got special editions, you got V6 with a sunroof. Options,
So
honey.
you found out Melissa Ford drive a Honda Accord. Oh damn, I'm rapping yay. Nope, I gotta get the yay terminology. I'm out. Right, and we'll get on that. But yeah, if you're comfortable, take the shot. If you're still working on yourself, then okay, it's okay to kind of set yourself back. But don't worry about the butterflies. It's going to be there for everybody.
Stay genuine and stay authentic to you and why and what you are looking for.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
So continue to send your Ask Yo Aunteas to AYA@minorityareport.com or DM us.